Welcome, everyone. We are live, and it is Monday again. It's Monday. Only assign the role that you want somebody to play in your life. How do we assign roles to people? We assign roles to people when we think about them, when we feel what we think about them. That's how you do it. So you know that person that you just, oh, I love you. Yeah. See that person? You are assigning them a role. You are assigning them a way to behave in your life. Now, what if it was someone you didn't like so much? You talk about them. Now remember the feelings. You know how you don't like them. You know how that makes you feel when you think about them. Right. You see that feeling? Remember the principle of rhythm. Rhythm compensates. So, how you feel, the degree of intensity of how you feel about that person when you think about them, talk about them, dream about them. Yes. See that? See that intensity? That's how they're going to show up in your life. I don't make the rules, I don't make the laws. I live by them, though, and so do you, whether you know it or you don't know it. Remember, go back into your mind's eye a recent scenario where you felt a particular way about someone. You know how we say, oh my God, I was just thinking about calling you. And then they call you? hmm Remember, the intensity that you feel is the intensity that they will show up in your life to play the role that you have assigned them. Are you assigning the role of lover? Are you assigning the role of companion? Are you assigning the role of agitator? Ah, think about that. And we assign these roles. Now, look at it. When we have children, if you do, if you don't, you have nieces and nephews. Yeah. You know that one kid, you're just like, oh, what a nuisance. You see how you think about that child? That's how the child has to show up and play that role because you can never be made a liar of. How you see them, feel about them, believe them to be is how they have to show up. It is the principle of correspondence, as within, so without. The way you feel about them is the role that you are assigning them to play in your life. So the next time you're out here in these streets having an internal conversation, taste that internal conversation. What does it feel like? Is it argumentative? Think about that. Is it cool, calm, and collected? Is it laid back? Then that is the type of interaction you're going to have because you are assigning the role. You don't know, okay? We don't know who that person is that's going to show up or what that experience is. But what we do know is how you feel, and how you're talking about it in that inner conversation. That is what will tell you what type of experience is going to show up. You see, it is very important that we assign these roles carefully. You don't want to assign the role of having some kind of antagonist in your day. What for? Then don't have internal arguments. Trust me with this one. I argue a lot. And when these kinds of people show up, I'm like, oh, Angela, come on. You know better than to argue. And that's why we practice on a daily basis, right? What kind of internal conversation are you having with yourself? Because that is the role you are assigning that person to come into your life to play. Period. If you are a teacher, And you dread going to school because these kids. What kind of role are you assigning those children? The role of getting on your nerves. Don't assign that to them because that's not what you want. How do you want these children to behave? You want them to be engaged in the class, to be interested in what's going on. If that's what you want, then that is the internal conversation. You start by saying, I don't know why everybody calls them Johnny or little Timmy. I don't know, but that's the name we always give these little imaginary kids. I just say George. You want George to have a sense of humor, not to be a prankster, but you want George to have a sense of humor. You want George to be curious. You want George to ask questions that are engaging the rest of the class. Well, then, in your mind's eye, your conversation that you're having on the inside, what kind of conversation do you want to have with George? Wait for it. And you just leave me hanging, don't you, little bit? He's not ready yet. He'll crow when he's ready. He'll crow when he's ready. See the role I'm assigning him in my life? Oh, yes, that's right. Listen, pay attention to the inner conversations you are having. You know, when you're driving and you think that, oh, your mind is clear and at ease, pay attention to that inner conversation. If on your way home, and I do this a lot, and I don't want to see dishes in the sink, and I go through my head and I say, there better not be dishes in that sink when I get home. What kind of conversation am I having? And it's not just a willy-nilly conversation. Oh, no, I feel that. I'm like, oh, man, if there's dishes in the sink, I'm going to lose my... So what do you think happens? I get home and there's dishes in the sink. And how did I already tell myself to behave? Somebody's going to get a cussing. Didn't I say not to leave these in the sink? Well, that's what I practiced all the way home. That is what I practiced all the way home. Arguing about dishes in the sink. How about when I get in my car and I say to myself, I wonder what fun and interesting things this whippersnapper has done today. Did he practice? I'm excited to hear about his day. What's going on in his world today? How did he do today? Is that the conversation I'm having in my head? Then that is the role I am assigning the child to play when I get home. And listen, I know that it seems to be far-fetched. It seems to be far-fetched. But you are the one, and I'm telling you that everybody has done it. Oh my God, I was just thinking about you. I meant to call you. I was thinking about you. My mother's favorite thing, I willed you to call me. That's how she says it. Oh, I willed you to call me. You knew I was thinking about you, and that's why you had to pick up the phone to call me. You see that? Every single one of us has been through that some point in our lives. You assigned that role, and they assigned you that role. So the next time that we are out and about in the world, remember your inner conversation. Your inner conversation is the script that you are writing and giving the actor who's going to show up in your world to play their part. So what role do you want your boss to play in your life? What role do you want your coworkers to play in your life? Then assign the role accordingly. It is this way for everybody. Nobody is exempt from it. This is the key. That inner conversation that we take for granted and we think doesn't go anywhere. It does. You are writing the script and encouraging those types of experiences in your life. You are the one opening the door for them. So if you sit there and you tell yourself, man, I'm too scared to do this. Oh, I'm not good enough to do this. Who's going to show up in your world to play that part to tell you, you just are not good enough at that? And then we have the audacity to clutch our pearls and go, how dare you tell me such things? You don't know who I am. No, you're right. They don't know who you are, but you wrote the script for them to show up. We do. Can't get past that. This here, my beautiful friends, is exactly what happens on a daily basis. Even as a little kid, you see the way we speak to our children, right? Plants seeds in their minds so that their internal conversations now, when they go to school, oh my God, I really hope I don't see Susie today. She always pulls my hair and takes my lunch money. You see what they're doing? You see that inner conversation that they're having? Oh, inner conversations start, my friends, the moment we become aware. So now your child is going to school talking to themselves in a state of fear and panic about Susie or George who's coming for them. That's what they're doing. And so because they're doing that, that person has to show up and torment them. This is what I'm trying to tell you. These inner conversations are no joke. They are no laughing matter. Unless, of course, you assign the role of comedian to somebody in your world. So you do not take your inner conversations for granted. Ever. Because they appear to be invisible. They appear to be nobody knows. These inner conversations, they appear to be, nobody knows what I'm thinking. Really? They will know exactly what you're thinking when you act. Because that's what an inner conversation does. The inner conversation causes us to act. So, only assign the role that you want played out in your life. Now, let's look at it from the other side, meaning you're the one playing a role in somebody's life. You ever say to yourself, oh, why don't I get along with this person? Why is this person like that? Because that's the inner conversation they're having with themselves. And because you are entertaining the thing of, why don't I? Why can't I with this particular person? Then you have to play the role of antagonist in their life, in their story. This is why Neville Goddard could say that the man of imagination is the one who casts that net out into the world, and the man that doesn't have imagination is influenced by it. So you see, today, my beautiful friends, your inner conversation is the script of your life. Why? Because that which you rehearse is what you will perform. Period. So don't argue with me and try and tell me I'm wrong. Why don't you test yourself? That is the purpose, after all, is to test oneself. What are you made of? Can you influence these inner conversations? Can you put words in somebody's mouth? Oh, yes, you can. You can pull a Bonnie Raitt. Let's give us something to talk about. You can do that. How? Your inner conversation. That's how you do it. Who do you want to encounter? Well, that depends on the inner conversation you're having. So today, as you and I go out into the world, Are you getting in that car talking about, these drivers are crazy. Ain't nobody know how they drive. Did they get their license from the Sears catalog? Well, then we already know what kind of drivers we're going to have on the street. Simple as that. Your inner conversation matters. It molds and shapes your life experiences. So, if you're out here in these streets talking about, it's never going to happen, that's not for me, or, ooh, today's going to be a great day. Who am I going to say hello to first? How am I going to be laughing today? See that inner conversation? And here's the thing. Inner conversations arise naturally based upon the mental mood, mental attitude that you are walking in. So what is your attitude? Well, look at the inner conversation and you'll know exactly what that mental attitude is that you're walking under today. You see, we must always see the contents of our minds. Well, how is that? The principle of correspondence, as within, so without. You will always see on the outside what you've got going on the inside, because that is the design. Why is that so important? Because the all is gracious. Why is the all gracious? Because if you did not see on the outside what you were on the inside, you'd be walking in a state of darkness. And the all did not ever intend for you and I to be deceived. That's why you must always know. But you see, the all is mind. The universe is mental. So the all does not live in a way that you don't. What you mean? The all knows what it is, and the all behaves accordingly to what it is. So you know who you are, and you behave according to who you say you are. How do you know? Look around you. If you are in the Northern Hemisphere at this moment, you know that we are in the season of winter. How do you know you're in the season of winter? Well, it is sure cold. What are we today? Minus what? Not too bad, actually. We're supposed to be getting lovely weather all week for winter, right? So 3 degrees, 4 degrees Celsius. That's what we're dealing with all week. It may even be 10 degrees sometime this week, 15 even. But we are still in winter. So that means you still got to put that parka on, still got to put your toque, your beanie on, your scarf, your mittens, your boots. You have to act according to what you are in. So the season tells you how to dress. Of course it does. When we're in summer, you can't wear no winter coat. That would be inappropriate because it doesn't match the season. So you want to wear as little as possible, depending on how hot it is where you are. So you see, as within, so without. We always act and behave according to the mental mood. And if you doubt me, go outside and you will see that whatever weather you are in, you have to act accordingly. You just do. There was a word for that, and they were called naturalists. They lived according to the seasons that they were in. They ate according to the season. They slept according to the season. They worked according to the season. But now we have fluorescent lights, so we can work all day and all night too. Because we think we can circumvent rhythm. You cannot. You always have to act accordingly because there are consequences. Every cause has its effect, and every effect has its cause. You think because you work the night shift and oh, you can handle it. You don't think that there's a repercussion for not having sleep, but that's a different story. That's a different day. So, your inner conversation will bring you into contact with people. And whatever that inner conversation is, that is the type of experience and the type of person you're going to encounter. So some people always say, or they ask me, "Well, Angela, I didn't think about this particular thing specifically." No, you didn't think about that thing specifically. You thought about and felt the feeling of it. And so it is the feeling that materializes. So, however you felt, whenever that person shows up, that's how you're going to feel. That's how the situation will show up to bring about that feeling that is mirrored within you. So, if you say, "Man, I don't get good customer service anywhere I go," what is that inner conversation going to do? When you show up, you could be going to the DMV, you could be going to the airport, you could be going to the grocery store, you could be going to the dentist. I never get good customer service wherever I go. People are so mean. People are such jerks. Oh, you see how much passion and intensity you say that to yourself? And then you wonder why you don't get good customer service. Change the inner conversation. And when you begin to change the inner conversation, at first, it feels like you're lying to yourself. You know as well as I know that there are great people who give excellent customer service. You know this. Even if they are the unicorn, you know that there's good customer service to be had. Do you not? Well, then, that's how you begin to change it. You don't tell yourself something you don't believe. So do you know that there's good customer service clerks out there? Yes, you do. So if you know that they are, what you gonna say? Ooh, I'm looking forward to meeting some great customer service clerks today. Because I know that they exist. So I'm looking for them. And if I'm looking for them, they're looking for me. See? Because now that doesn't feel so far fetched. It doesn't. Here's one that we all talk about: lottery. Man, it's impossible to win the lottery. Well, aren't people winning it? That's something you know to be true. So if people are winning it, well, then why not you? You see? But because you hold so fast to that inner conversation that says, "Ooh, you gotta be lucky. Oh, that stuff is rigged." You see how passionately you believe that? And then you wonder why. There are people winning it, isn't it? You hear about them all the time. You see them in the papers. And you say, "Oh, man, why couldn't that have been me?" Why couldn't it have been? Because you keep telling yourself, "Pff, too far fetched. It's I'd be far lucky to be struck by lightning." And then we wonder why. Oh, there's no good men in the world. There's no good women in the world. Oh, wait, what? Are there not, though? Are there not? Of course they are, or else you wouldn't be looking. So if you know that there's good men and women in the world, well, then begin to have the inner conversation that confirms that they are. And then, sooner rather than later, you will encounter a good man or a good woman. But you see what we do, because we live by way of our memories, right? As within, so without. What do? We paint the present with the same paintbrush of the past and then expect our future to be better. You see the inner conversation is always happening. So do you know that there are good men in the world? Do you know that there's good women in the world? Do you know that there's lots of money to be had in the world? Hmm? Do you know that there's lots of kindness to be had in the world? Of course you do. So then, start to have an inner conversation along those lines. Why? Because that inner conversation, you are assigning that role to someone. So, what role do you want to assign the bus driver? Hmm? What role do you want to assign your Uber driver? Hmm? Then begin to have the inner conversation that corresponds to the experience you want to have. Now, remember this. You're not just having an idle conversation. The mental mood that you occupy is what brings about the mental conversation. So if you know that part, you will always pay attention to your mental mood. And when you pay attention to your mental mood, you can put a thing down, flip it, and reverse it. That's what you can do. You don't have to be stuck in a mental attitude that you don't want to be in. You don't. Turn on some music. You know I love to dance. Oh, of course I do. I didn't tell you I was good. I just said I love to dance. So I get out there and shake my groove thing. Because when I shake my groove thing, I feel better. And when my mood is better, my thoughts are better. When my thoughts are better, my actions are better. And so too are my words. And now I get to play that role in somebody else's life. So you see, I'm gonna say this. Don't lose your cool when I say it, but I am going to. We got folks out here in the world trying to bring about a new world order. Oneness. How in the Sam Hill are you going to bring about a one world order when the world is already one? We are already one. Oh, yes, we are. But you see, the inner conversations that we allow ourselves to have taints our perspective to make us believe that I'm different from you. That we're not all inhaling and exhaling. Oh, so that what? This is why I tell you that inner conversation is so important. Because if I can mentally impregnate you with an inner conversation that says, the world is going to hell in a handbasket. If I can convince you of that, how do you think you'll behave in the world? What, you thought that you were the only one who knew how to use the law? No, you're not. You think that when you hear, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood, you think you're fighting your neighbor, but you're not. You're fighting your perception of your neighbor, your inner conversation of your neighbor. That's what I'm trying to convey to you. And we out here in these streets talking about, oh, I got to get my red bottom shoes. I got to get my Birkin bag. Hello. Your inner conversation means more than a Birkin bag at this present moment. There's nothing wrong with a Birkin bag. Don't get me wrong. But your inner conversation usurps that. Your inner conversation is what shapes the world. Your world, your tiny bubble. But that tiny bubble, if you put one little bubble next to another one, what happens? They become one bubble. Two became one. So don't think that your tiny bubble is different from mine. It is one bubble anyway. So this inner conversation that you have on a daily basis influences everything around you. And that is why it matters what mood you are in. Because if I can influence your mood, what did I just influence? Your behavior. But you see, we don't put those things together because I don't know why we're scared. There's nothing to be afraid of. There's great freedom in being able to master the inner conversation. Why? Because then you will master the external experience. But you see, we all looking for power. We're looking for power when you have power already. Power to do what? We want to have power to rule the world. Everybody wants to rule the world. We want power to rule the world when we can't even rule our own emotions. Hello? But if you practice, mastering the art of the inner conversation, and how will you know you're mastering it? Your external experiences will correspond. And this is why it is important to have the internal and the external. So that you can see what you're doing. So that when you see and you're like, I'm not just quite right, you can fix it right there, right then. Because you know what the issue is. Got to get the inner right. And the external will follow. But what do? What did we learn to do? Break the mirror to change our face. That's what we learned how to do. And there's no way you can bust a mirror to change your face. You must change your face. How? Internally. So that the reflection on the outside changes. So the internal conversation that you're having over and over, the habitual conversation. And I told you how to change it. You and I know that there's good people. You and I know that there's plenty of love in the world. We do know it. So if you know that there is, run with that. You say, yes, there is, and I want to see it. Now, how would I behave if I saw it? How would I behave if I saw it? Then that's what you rehearse in your mind's eye. Day in and day out. You do not rehearse fear. Why? Because you don't have to find and experience something to be afraid of. As within, so without. So be courageous instead. Oh, indeed. You practice and you rehearse hatred. What do you think you'll experience? Oh, let me guess. Hatred? Yes. So practice love. Tina asked that question, what's love got to do with it? Everything. Everything. So, begin today, my beautiful friends, to practice a deliberate inner conversation. Don't write me and tell me, Angela, I did that for the whole day and nothing changed. So you learned how to print in one day? Or did you have to have chicken scratch for months? That's my point. You think your chiropractor learned in 1 week? No. You think a surgeon learned in 1 week? No. You think an acupuncturist learned in 1 week? No. We practice until it becomes a memory so that you live by it. So start practicing. How do you practice your inner conversation? By catching it when it is undesirable. When that inner conversation occurs, you say, oh, what am I thinking? Didn't Shabba say that? Now, what this girl thinking? But you know what? Let me stop. If you know Shabba Ranks. Okay. I digress. So, what are you thinking? But Angela, that's just too much work to keep up with my thoughts. I know it is. That's why it is important to comprehend how you feel. Because the mood will tell you what you're gonna think. Control the mood, and you will have control the thoughts, the words, and the actions. Anyhow, don't let me holler anymore in here, because it's early in the morning, and if I holler too much, you know, a little bit, he's going to have to holler back because he said he ain't no holler back girl. He's a holler back rooster. But I digress. Who's here with us this morning in these YouTube streets? Well, if it isn't Mr. Stafford Jr. Hello, darling. I see you. And welcome to the space. And I know Melly Mel is kicking it with us today. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Maybe even the better man is hanging out with us today in these YouTube streets. I see you. I sure do. Twitter. Yoda Green is in the house. I see you, Yoda Green. Thanks for kicking it with us this morning here in these Twitter streets. Allegedly, Elon was in my fan base room. Allegedly. And now, allegedly, Johnny Depp is in the chat in YouTube in these fan base streets. Allegedly. But you know how it is. Why should I pretend to be somebody else when I am so gloriously myself? But, you know, it is what it is. Mr. Mr. Custom is in the house. Hey. They call me Yellow Mellow is in the house with us. Mellow. Hello. Michael and wife. I see you. Ray Ray is in the house. Big Mike and wife. I see you. Miss McQueen, darling. And my dearest Miss Fawn, whom I have not seen in forever, I see you. Thanks for being here in these fan-based streets. These fan-based streets. It is good to see you all. It sure is. Anywho, I trust that you will remember to practice. Remember to practice. We practice so we can get it right, get it tight, right? That's exactly it. What are you going to practice? Catching the mood. Because the more you catch that mood and you change it, you assess that mood and you say, look, if I continue in this mood, we going to FAFO. If I continue in this mood. So you know what? I want to be in a better mood. And the moment you say you want to be in a better mood, you start being in one. Just like that. And from that better mood, you start to do things that correspond to a better mood. And then as you go through the day, you practice. Can I identify the mood? Can I change the mood? And can I sustain? Can I hold that mood? Remember what I told you about sustaining. We cannot sustain the mood indefinitely because everything is moving, so you can't hold it still. But what you can do is to make the mood a habit so that you're always in it more than you're not. So that it looks like you're always doing it. It looks like it's being sustained. That's what I'm saying to you. Say it again. Okay, we cannot sustain the mood indefinitely because the principle of vibration says everything is moving, nothing stands still. So your mood is not going to last you all day. However, if you practice that mood all the time, then that mood becomes a habit, which makes it what? appear to be as if you're always in a good mood, like you're sustaining a good mood. That is what habits do for us. So make your mood. Now understand, a better mood does not mean faking being positive. That's not what you're doing. You're not faking your positivity. Don't, man, that is the fastest way to drive yourself nuts. You out here in these streets angry and no, I'm not. I'm not angry. I'm positive. You what? But that means you'll choke somebody with a smile. Right? So what do? Acknowledge the mood and know that if you are in that mood, you're going to behave in that way. And the moment you do that, you have just transmuted. You've changed it from what it is and you made it into what you wanted it to be instead. So all you got to do is practice. Why? Because at the end of the day, when you practice, you are assigning a role to someone to play out in your life. That's what you're doing. So, with that being said, I am going to go and feed my chickens. Because you didn't hear them doesn't mean they're not there. It just means it's still dark and he's not ready to sing yet. Because he sings when he's commanded from the inside to sing. Okay. He does not sing on command because I want him to. He's stubborn like that. But I love my Roo. Remember to practice. Remember to practice. For the love of God on all things, practice. Your very existence depends upon it. Oh, wait, that escalated quickly. My existence depends upon my practice? Yes, it does. Because if you do not master your mood, somebody else will master your mood for you. Oh, you doubt me? Look around in the world. There's war. There's rumors of war. There you can't even tell if it's AI or not. Oh, master your mood so that you can master your life. We keep thinking we need a ruler. What's that song? I need a hero. Look in the mirror. Anyway, don't let me preach. Don't let me preach. Some may say it's a little late for that. But you know what? I love you. I do. I do. Get up and go forth and practice the mood that you want to experience in your outside world. Inside out. Boy, you turn me. let me stop, okay? Anyway, countdown initiated. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Much love to each and every single one of you. K-Frame! Hey, sugar. It's good to see you. It sure is. He just popped in the chat in these YouTube streets. It is lovely to see you too, my darling. So, practice. Because what you practice, you make a habit of. Hello. And habits make you successful. Whether that habit is good, bad, or indifferent, you will be a pro at what you practice. Hello. So what do you want to be a pro at? But that's for you to decide. Indeed. Anywho, I love you. I honestly love you. Yo, you all think I'm nuts. Don't think I am. No. Know that I am. Nuts about you. These nuts. Anyway, go and enjoy the beautiful day. How do you know the day is beautiful? As within, so without. So there better be some beauty in you. That's how the day will be beautiful, because you are. All right? Anywho, that's all it is. I will close YouTube and Facebook and Twitter. And then I got a free hand I can close fan base. A little bit does say hello, okay? He is for real, he's fast asleep this morning. He is fast asleep. I did hear him flutter a little bit, but he's not ready yet for the Monday morning. All right. Mwah. Peace out, YouTube and Facebook.